If you're in the SSC CGL game, you know the feeling. The results drop, and everyone's heart is pounding. You're not just looking for your score, you're looking for that one number that changes everything, the cutoff. Lately, that number has been a huge source of stress. So today, we're going to break it all down, the official reasons, and maybe some of the not-so-official ones for why it keeps climbing.
Look at this number, 152.97 out of 200. This was the Tier 1 cutoff in 2024 for most unreserved posts. For millions of aspirants, this isn't just a score, it's a massive wall that just seems to get higher and higher every single year.
So that's the big question for today. How on earth did we get here? Is it just that there's more competition, or is something else going on? We're going to look at the data, dive into the official explanations, and even explore some of the more controversial theories to get the full picture. All right, first things first, let's look at the cold, hard data. To really get what's happening, you need to see just how steep this climb has been. So, just to be clear, what is a cutoff score? It's simple. It's the absolute minimum you need to get to the next level. It's not the score that gets you the job, not yet. It's just your ticket to get into the next round of the fight. Now, check this out. This is where it gets kind of crazy. In 2022, the cutoff was floating around 114. Just 1 year later, in 2023, it rocketed up to 150. And by 2024, it's almost at 153. That is not a small jump. That's a total game changer.
Okay, so what's the official line on why these numbers are going wild? Well, the Staff Selection Commission, or SSC, usually points to a few very logical factors that decide the cutoff every year.
And the first reason is a big one. It's the sheer number of people in the race. For the 2025 exam, we're talking about over 2.8 million candidates. That's an incredible number of people all competing for a handful of government jobs. And you can see how that number has been growing. Back in 2021, it was 2.1 million. Now it's pushing past 2.8 million. When you have that many more people showing up to the party, the competition for the top spots gets way, way fiercer, and that naturally pushes the cutoff score up. So the official story really boils down to these three things. The more people that take the exam and the fewer jobs there are, the higher the cutoff's going to be. And if the paper is easy, the cutoff goes up. If it's tough, it goes down. It's basically supply and demand. But wait, there's another layer to this whole thing. And that brings us to the big X factor, a word that, let's be honest, gives a lot of aspirants nightmares: normalization. This is where things get really complicated, and it plays a huge role in where that final cutoff lands. Just think about it for a second. The CGL exam runs across tons of different shifts on different days. What if your shift gets an absolutely brutal paper, while another shift gets a much easier one? Is that fair? Of course not. And the official solution to that problem is normalization. So here's how it's supposed to work. You've got your raw score. That's how many questions you actually got right. But then there's your normalized score, and that's the one that really counts. This score is adjusted to level the playing field. If you had a really tough paper, your score might get a boost. Had an easy one, it might come down a bit. This single process can totally change your final result. Okay, so we've covered the official side of things, but if you actually talk to the people writing these exams, you'll hear a whole different story. A lot of people believe there are deeper, more systemic problems that are also pushing these cutoffs into the stratosphere. Let's get into some of those arguments.
Yeah, while normalization is designed to be fair, it's also a big source of controversy. As this analysis points out, some critics wonder if the process is really as transparent or as equitable as it's claimed to be. And that lack of clarity, it fuels a lot of speculation. And that speculation leads to some pretty serious allegations within the aspirant community. You hear whispers about exam leaks that could give some people an unfair advantage. You hear claims about a so-called coaching mafia that might have some kind of undue influence. And some people even think that high cutoffs are just a crude tool to easily filter out a massive number of applicants. Now, to be clear, these are allegations and theories, not proven facts, but they are absolutely part of the conversation around this exam.
So, with all of this in mind, the intense competition, the mystery of normalization, all the controversies, what can you, the aspirant, actually do? How do you fight back? Let's talk strategy. Here's a simple 3-step game plan. Number 1, stop aiming for the cutoff. Seriously, aim for a score that's a good 20 to 25 marks higher than what you expect the cutoff to be. Give yourself a buffer. 2, mock tests are your new best friend. They're non-negotiable. And 3, it's all about that perfect balance between speed and accuracy. You gotta be fast, but you can't afford those negative marks.
At the end of the day, this is the one truth you hear from every single person who has cracked this exam. You can't control the cutoff, you can't control the system, but you are 100% in control of your own effort. Consistent, daily practice. That's the only thing that's really in your hands.
I really want this to sink in because it's a powerful idea. The cutoff tells you how crowded the race is. It tells you about the performance of millions of other people. But it says absolutely nothing about your potential or what you're capable of achieving.
So that's the real question, isn't it? The cutoff measures the crowd. But the real test is how you're going to measure yourself. What's your plan to rise so high that that number becomes completely and totally irrelevant?